Hi, and welcome along to World Cup Daily, the show where we take a look at the World Cup news and Arsenal news here on Arsenal Fan TV. I'm going to start off with the games from yesterday. Of course, the host nation were in action, Brazil. The whole of Brazil come to a standstill. They had that rousing national anthem at the start of the game, enough to get you right into the mood from fantastic game. But the game itself was very, very disappointing. A very disappointing performance by Brazil. They did create all the chances really in the game, all the clear-cut stuff, but they were stopped by an absolutely brilliant performance by the goalkeeper Ochoa for Mexico, who pulled off about 3 world-class saves to keep them in the game. I mean, the save that he made from Neymar from their header was absolutely brilliant, and what a fantastic performance by Mexico. I knew it was going to be a hard game for Brazil because Mexico are used to playing Brazil. They know what to expect from Brazil, and they really did set up really well, and a couple of times troubled Brazil on the counter-attack as well, and it wasn't a very good performance by Brazil. And Fred, the striker who plays up front for Brazil, I mean, he was 2 games in a row for me absolutely terrible. I mean, I hear Arsenal fans sometimes going on about Olivier Giroud, but trust me, this guy, Giroud, will make this guy look like, I mean, Giroud, I don't want to hear nobody else slating off Giroud after seeing this guy last night. Fred, he's awful. And basically, at the moment with Brazil, it seems like they're too over-reliant on Neymar. If it's Neymar having to produce all the chances, all the shots on goal, and they're going to have to improve. I still think they can win this World Cup, but they're going to have to improve. I mean, I thought Dani Alves last night had a very poor game. At one stage, he even got outpaced, which is something you don't see too often. I don't know if it's because if he dyed his hair grey for the game. Maybe he'd gone old overnight. But it was a very poor performance by him, and poor by Brazil in general. And they're definitely going to have to improve. Still probably go through in the group. They've got 4 points now, and they've got Cameroon in their last game. But they're going to have to really improve if they're going to get past the big guns later on in the tournament. Belgium played Algeria. Again, Belgium is seen as one of the dark horses for the tournament. For a very long time, Algeria kept them at bay. Very difficult to break down Algeria. Played pretty well, they did. Belgium did eventually get the breakthrough. Marian Fellaini, the forgotten man of Manchester United, being played in his favoured position as sort of number 10 behind the striker where he does more damage, came on and made the difference for Belgium, and they beat Algeria 2-1. And then another game after that, Russia versus South Korea. Not the greatest game in the world again. And Fabio Capello's Russia only managing a 1-1 draw with South Korea. South Korea, who had Park Ju-young up front, remember him? Who played 7 minutes only for Arsenal last season. Well, he was leading the line for South Korea. Pretty decent result for South Korea, actually. They did lead. Russia pulled it back 1-1, a typical Capello result, really. And that I feel a bit sorry for that group because they have to wait right until the end of everybody to sort of get their campaign underway. But yeah, that ended in a 1-1 draw. Let's take a look at the transfer links today. And the one player that stood out last night, as I just mentioned, was Ochoa, the goalkeeper at Mexico. He's been heavily linked with a move to Arsenal, as he has been with several other clubs. He's a free agent. And after that performance last night, anybody looking for a goalkeeper are going to be looking at this guy and saying, hey, this guy looks tasty. Now, listen, you can't judge it off of one performance. You can't even just judge it off of one World Cup. But, in the 2 games he's played, he's looked a decent goalkeeper. And Arsenal, of course, are on the lookout for a goalkeeper. So he'd be free, wouldn't even cost anything. So he may be worth the risk. The only thing is he's not played in the Premier League before, and that may count against him as a goalkeeper having to get used to the league. We've also been linked today with Ezequiel Lavezzi, the 29-year-old striker who plays for PSG. Apparently PSG are willing to let him go. They let him go for about £15 million. He's a very, very good player, actually. I'm not sure, though, but I'm looking at the age, 29 years of age. is Arsene Wenger going to get a player of that age for that amount of money to come in? I'm surely he'll be looking at younger options, which of course the option which is on everybody's lips is Mario Balotelli. Balotelli's agent yesterday apparently said that well, they was asking him about the whole Arsenal links and stuff like that, and he didn't, he didn't rule it out completely, did he? He said Arsenal are a great club, and he made all the right noises. So we never know what is going on behind the scenes. I don't think it's going to be an easy deal to get done, and we still don't know the thoughts of Arsene Wenger completely. All the papers are reporting that Arsene Wenger wants to get Balotelli. He's interested in Balotelli. But do we know, are those his thoughts? Does he want to take a risk with Balotelli and Balotelli's temperament? And that is the big question. There's no doubt in his talent, but it's his temperament. Would he produce it week in, week out? And that's what you need to do if you're going to be a top striker in the Premier League. And finally, not lots of transfer news around today, but one interesting thing which came out from Julian Draxler yesterday, who of course was a target for Arsenal in the January transfer window. He's actually come out yesterday and admitted that Arsenal did put a bid in for him, did want to buy him in the January transfer window, but he decided that he wanted to stay at Schalke, and he wants to stay at Schalke another year before he decides about moving. So it would appear that Arsenal did put in a bid to try and bring Draxler to Arsenal in January, but the player himself decided that he didn't want to come. So that is why the Draxler thing didn't happen. So all those rumours at the time were true. Just going into a couple of your comments. Jayza V says, Belgium, the golden generation. I think he's kind of saying that in an ironic way. They didn't look like much of a golden generation yesterday. Don't get me wrong. Listen, it's the first game. You can't judge teams really off of the first game because teams are very nervous. Teams are, you don't know what to expect. And, Algeria, as I said, were very, very difficult to break down. But it wasn't the greatest of performances by the Belgians. HBK Gunner says, apparently Wenger is meeting with Mario's representatives on Saturday. My thoughts, apparently, is the word in there. We don't know for sure. I've said all along, I'd love to see Mario Balotelli at Arsenal. I really would love to see him come to Arsenal. I think if Arsene Wenger could get hold of him, I think he could be a top player. Football Surreal just sort of echoed what I was saying. He's saying that I heard that Balotelli, 25 million, the deal is on. Cleverly's rejected, or has been rejected by Arsenal. Thank God for that. And Julian Draxler staying at Schalke. Yes, as I said, Draxler said he will be staying at Schalke this season, so that's definitely not going to happen. But that's the crux of it. Now, listen, the fixture list is coming out at 9 o'clock today. Now, we're going to be doing a special program later on where I'm going to be going through the fixture list, taking a look, dissecting it, and seeing who we've got throughout the season. It's going to be really interesting to see who we get around about March time. That's the time when Arsenal will normally go like that. So it's going to be really interesting to see who we cop this year around about that time. But I'll be doing a special hangout about the fixture list later on today, so look out for that. But thank you very much for watching World Cup Daily, and we'll be back tomorrow at the same time.